Ilara sat on the edge of her bed, her heart heavy with worry. The small room was dimly lit by the soft glow of a candle flickering on her bedside table. Shadows danced along the walls, but they felt different tonight, more like ominous figures than playful friends. She could hear her mother's faint cough coming from the next room, echoing like a distant thunderclap. Each sound sent jolts of anxiety through her small frame. Her mother had always been her rock. If you enjoy this video, please like the video and subscribe for more, and tell me where you are watching from today. I always find it awesome to see where all my viewers are watching from. Let's get back to the video. With a warm smile and gentle words, she could chase away dark clouds that filled Ilara's young mind. But now, that comforting presence was dimmed by illness. Ilara's fingers fidgeted with the edge of her blanket, pulling it tight against her chest as if it could shield her from the gloom that hovered overhead. She closed her eyes for a moment, wishing fiercely for her mother's quick recovery. "Please, just be okay," Ilara whispered to herself, her voice barely breaking through the silence. She imagined all the lovely stories they used to share, the laughter bouncing off the walls like bright butterflies. Those memories felt like sunshine breaking through stormy skies, giving her hope. The once vibrant garden outside their cottage had faded into a sea of gray. Flowers that bloomed beautifully during summer were wilted, mirroring Ilara's feelings. She glanced out the window, longing for the warmth of the sun and the laughter of children playing in the fields. But all she could see were shadows stretching long across the ground. Desperate to help her mother, Ilara thought of ways to make her feel better. She remembered the herbs her mother used when she was sick, nature's remedies that had once worked wonders. If only she could find some, maybe she would feel better. But there was something more, something deeper, that gnawed at her heart. The cough hadn't just appeared, it was growing stronger each day. As night fell, Ilara wrapped herself in a shawl and tiptoed to the kitchen. The moonlight poured through the window, casting a silver glow over everything that felt both magical and daunting. With determination in her eyes, she grabbed a small basket and quietly slipped outside into the chilly night air. The forest loomed beyond their backyard like an ancient guardian watching over the land. Ilara took a deep breath. Its earthy scent filled her with both fear and excitement. The trees towered over her, their branches twisted and luminous under the moonlight, like fingers beckoning her closer. She had heard stories about magical healing herbs hidden deep within the woods. If only she could find them. Maybe they would have just what she needed to save her mother. Clutching her basket tightly, she ventured deeper into the forest, listening to the sounds of leaves, rustling and creatures scurrying beneath her feet. With every step she took, hope flickered like the stars above. As she moved further into the thicket, however, an uneasy feeling settled in her stomach. It was as if unseen eyes were watching her every move from the shadows. "Don't be scared," she whispered to herself. "You're helping Mom." Just then, Ilara's foot caught on a gnarled root hidden beneath fallen leaves, and she stumbled forward onto the damp ground. The cold earth beneath her felt surprisingly comforting as she pressed her palm against it. This land held secrets, some lost to time and some filled with magic waiting to be discovered. Brushing herself off, she stood up and continued onward until she saw something twinkling in the distance. A faint light flickering among the trees. Curiosity pulled her towards it, like a moth to a flame. As she drew nearer, magical sounds filled her ears. Soft whispers echoed around her, blending with the breeze. "Mom," Ilara called softly, half expecting that maybe she would hear her mother's voice carried back to her by enchantment. But no reply came. Instead, she found herself standing before an ancient castle hidden deep within the forest glades. Its stone walls were overgrown with ivy and moss, but exuded an aura of grandeur that took her breath away. Alara gazed at it wide-eyed. It looked both beautiful and terrifying. Was this place real? Or just a figment of imagination brought alive by desperation? Whatever it was, something deep inside nudged Alara forward. The feeling that perhaps help awaited inside those crumbling walls. With determination renewed in her heart, Alara stepped closer to the castle entrance, pushing aside doubt and fear. It was time for bravery to take charge, both for herself and for her mother, waiting back home in need of healing. Little did she know that this journey would change everything, uncovering mysteries long forgotten and forging connections beyond what she could ever imagine. As Alara stepped into the enchanting forest, the silver glow of the moon illuminated her path. The air was rich with earthy scents, mingled with whispers that seemed to dance around her. Each soft rustle of leaves and distant chirp of a night creature felt like voices guiding her deeper into the unknown. She moved cautiously, her heart pounding in rhythm with the sounds of the night. Alara's determination to find a way to heal her mother filled her with courage, but there was an undeniable thrill in the air, an electric charge that made her senses tingle. What would she discover in this hidden world? After wandering for what felt like an eternity, Alara's eyes caught sight of something magnificent through the branches. Ruins draped in ivy and moonlight. It was an ancient castle, its towering spires reaching toward the stars as if trying to touch them. The stone walls were mottled with age, but exuded a haunting beauty that took her breath away. Curiosity pulled her nearer, and as she approached, she began to hear soft whispers weaving through the wind. They were melodic yet eerie, as if the very stones were sharing secrets long forgotten. Despite a flicker of fear, Alara stepped forward, drawn by an invisible force. The heavy wooden door creaked open at her touch, revealing a dark hallway lit only by faint glimmers from torches set high on the walls. Shadows danced in the corners, playing tricks on her mind. With each step inside, she could feel a chill settle around her shoulders, a warning that urged her to turn back. But Alara's heart raced. She had come too far to retreat now. "Hello?" she called softly, hoping for a reply but bracing herself for silence. The sound echoed back at her, swallowed by the vastness of the hall. She glanced around cautiously and noticed intricate carvings adorning the walls, strange symbols and images that hinted at magic and mystery. Drawn by their allure, Alara moved closer to examine them, when suddenly a whisper emerged again from somewhere deeper within, clearer this time. "Help is sought. Find what you seek." Alara's eyes widened as she followed the voice down a twisting staircase that spiraled into darkness. With every step downwards, courage battled against fear in her chest. The air grew heavier and colder as she descended into what felt like another realm entirely. At last, she reached a gloomy chamber filled with flickering candles that cast an otherworldly glow all around. The shadows seemed alive here, curling and shifting like wraiths dancing across stone walls adorned with more strange symbols. In the center of the room stood a figure cloaked in darkness, a tall man whose presence commanded attention immediately. His hair flowed like midnight silk around his shoulders, and his piercing eyes glowed like embers in the dim light. "Welcome," he spoke softly but firmly. "I am Lucian, King of Vampires." Alara felt both awe and fear wash over her as she stared at him. In tales shared between whispers and shadows, stories of vampire kings had always been shrouded in danger. Yet there was something captivating about him, a mix of strength and gentleness that drew her closer despite herself. "I have been waiting for you," Lucian continued, his voice smooth as velvet. You seek healing for your mother. How do you know? Alara asked breathlessly. The bloodline you carry speaks volumes, he replied cryptically. You have power inside you, an ancient connection that binds your fate to this realm. What do you mean? Alara pressed on, hunger for understanding igniting within her. Lucian stepped closer, his gaze penetrating yet reassuring. Your lineage has always been intertwined with magic and healing. He gestured toward an ornate chest resting against one wall. Inside lies an artifact powerful enough to help your mother, a crystal imbued with potent healing magic. Hope surged within Alara's chest like a wildfire igniting dry grass. But why would you help me? He paused thoughtfully before replying. There are forces at play beyond our understanding. Dark forces interested in your bloodline. His expression darkened momentarily before he added gently, I believe protecting your family is worth more than power itself. Alara's heart raced at this revelation. She felt weighty responsibilities settle upon her small shoulders, but also newfound purpose sparking within her spirit. Perhaps this journey led not just to healing, but also unraveling mysteries about herself hidden beneath layers of doubt. Show me, Alara said confidently now, her voice steady with resolve. Lucian nodded solemnly as he opened the chest, revealing radiant light spilling out like sunrise over winter frost. Inside lay a crystal pulsating like a heartbeat, its glow mesmerizing against shadows surrounding it. With this encounter marking only the beginning of their shared journey ahead, a blend of courage, magic, and unspoken secrets waited just beyond reach. As Lucian opened the ornate chest, a radiant light poured forth, illuminating the chamber with a warm glow that seemed to breathe life into the shadows. Alara gazed in awe at the crystal nestled within, its surface shimmering like liquid stars. It pulsed gently, as if synchronized with her own heartbeat, and she felt an irresistible pull toward it. Lucian watched her closely, his piercing eyes reflecting both curiosity and understanding. You can feel it, can't you? He asked, his voice soft yet powerful. The connection between you and this artifact is stronger than I anticipated. Alara nodded, her heart racing. What is it? How can it help my mother? It is a powerful healing crystal, Lucian explained, stepping closer to her. Its magic is drawn from your bloodline, one that runs deep with ancient powers. You are not merely an ordinary girl. You have the potential to wield magic that could change the course of your fate. Me? Alara's eyes widened in disbelief. But I'm just me. I'm no one special. Lucian smiled gently, his expression warm but serious. You underestimate yourself, Alara. Your lineage has always been intertwined with the forces of magic and healing. The strength within you has been waiting, a spark ignited by your love for your mother. The weight of his words settled heavily on her shoulders. A mix of excitement and fear coiled in her stomach. Could it be true? Was there really something extraordinary hidden inside her? The thought made her long for answers, answers that stretched back to a history she knew nothing about. What do you mean by my bloodline? Alara questioned, gripping the edges of her shawl tightly. In your family lies a legacy of healers, Lucian explained, his gaze steady and piercing. For generations, women in your line have possessed gifts that allowed them to mend wounds and cure ailments far beyond what ordinary mortals could achieve. He paused for a moment before continuing. But dark forces have sought to extinguish such power. Alara's mind raced as she processed this information. Could she truly be part of something so grand? For so long, she had felt powerless against her mother's illness. Now she was hearing whispers of magic flowing through her veins. But if I have this power, she ventured cautiously, why haven't I noticed it before? Lucian's expression turned grave as he spoke again. Magic can lie dormant until it finds purpose, a reason to ignite and awaken. He stepped back slightly, allowing Alara a moment to absorb everything being revealed to her. Your mother's sickness has stirred something inside you. He continued softly. It has connected you to this castle, to me, and to the healing powers within this crystal. Alara looked down at the glowing gem resting in Lucian's hands and felt an odd warmth radiating from it toward her heart. But what if I can't control it? She asked hesitantly. Lucian offered an encouraging smile. That is what our journey together is for. I will guide you through unlocking your potential. Together, we will learn how to wield this gift wisely. Her resolve began to solidify as hope bloomed within her like spring flowers breaking through winter frost. Alara took a deep breath and stepped forward cautiously, reaching toward the crystal that pulsed with an energy she instinctively recognized as part of herself. What do we do now? She asked more confidently. First, Lucian replied as he closed his eyes briefly in concentration. You must learn to connect with the magic inside you. He gestured for Alara to take hold of the crystal gently. As soon as her fingers brushed against its surface, a surge of warmth enveloped her. A rush of vivid images flashed through her mind. Swirls of light dancing around figures dressed in flowing robes. Laughter echoing through sunlit gardens filled with vibrant flowers, and shadowy forms lurking beyond that joyful world. Startled by this flood of sensations, Alara gasped but stood firm as the visions faded away, like a dream upon waking. When she opened her eyes again, Lucian was watching her intently. You felt it, he stated firmly, delight sparking in his voice. Yes. She breathed out slowly, uncertainty creeping back into her thoughts as fierce emotions brewed within her chest. A mix of excitement for discovering who she might become and fear over what lay ahead. Embrace that feeling, Lucian encouraged gently, while lowering his voice almost conspiratorially inside their shared space filled with secrets unspoken yet brimming with promise. Alara nodded again, determination shining brightly in her eyes, ready to embark on this path intertwined with discovery alongside Lucian, who dared to believe in all that she could truly be. Alara gazed at the crystal, its soft glow illuminating her face as Lucian held it between his fingers. Each pulse of light seemed to resonate with her heartbeat, making her feel alive and connected to something greater. Yet, even amidst this wonder, the gravity of her mother's illness weighed heavily on her mind. While this crystal is powerful, Lucian began, his voice steady, there is another essential artifact located deeper within these castle walls, one that will unlock the true potential of the healing crystal. What kind of artifact? Alara asked, her curiosity piqued. It is known as the Heartstone, a gem that amplifies magic and draws upon the essence of life itself. Lucian explained, a hint of urgency creeping into his tone. With it, the healing properties of your crystal can work wonders beyond what you can imagine. It could save your mother and restore her vitality. I'll find it, Alara declared confidently, her sense of purpose energizing her spirit. The thought of saving her mother filled her with determination, despite feeling scared about what lay ahead in this mysterious castle. She wasn't going to back down now. Lucian smiled approvingly at her resolve. Bravery runs deep in your bloodline. But this quest won't be simple. Shadows dwell far beyond these walls, some looking to protect their secrets at any cost. Elara took a deep breath, embracing both fear and resolve as she met Lucian's gaze. I understand. Whatever it takes, I will help my mother. Very well, he replied, his demeanor shifting into one of a guiding mentor. We will need to prepare before embarking on our journey through the castle's depths. As Lucian moved to gather essential items from the room, the luminous crystal in hand, Elara couldn't help but marvel at the surroundings. Grand tapestries hung on the walls depicting aged battles and untold tales. Rich mahogany furniture was scattered throughout like relics from a long-lost era, adding weight to their situation. What else do we need? She asked curiously, while watching him select a few potions and scrolls filled with mysterious symbols. We must remain vigilant, he said without turning around, pulling out a cloak that shimmered subtly under torchlight. We'll likely encounter guardians meant to challenge anyone who dares enter deeper realms. Guardians? Elara echoed nervously, but intrigued nonetheless. Yes. Lucian finally turned toward her, donning the cloak around his shoulders like an imposing shadow. They can take many forms, creatures born from magic and nightmares alike. Yet there's nothing to fear. Together we shall navigate these trials. Elara nodded firmly. Somehow, Lucian's confidence was contagious and gave her strength. She took a few steps forward and began preparing herself for this adventure that felt destined for her. Once equipped with potions and scrolls, they exited the chamber and made their way down twisting hallways, illuminated only by dim torches, flickering against stone walls lined with ancient scrolls containing spells of knowledge lost to most. This path will lead us toward the lower chambers, Lucian instructed as they progressed through echoing corridors filled with nighttime sounds that danced eerily around them. Stay close. Elara stole glances at Lucian occasionally. There was something captivating about him, the way he carried himself with grace combined with an unmistakable strength gave her comfort amidst the unease they faced. As they walked further into the darkness below ground level, where flickering shadows seemed to breathe life unexpectedly. Flashes lit up corners revealing stone statues draped in layers of dust. A gust rushed past them, hinting at hidden dangers just ahead, suddenly stopping abruptly beside a grand iron door emblazoned with intricate designs invoking ancient magic. Lucian spoke quietly but decisively. This door guards the first part of our trials, the entrance of shadows. Gathering herself quickly against dread, winding tightly in her chest, Elara mustered determination as she prepared for whatever lay behind those ancient doors, even if shivers crawled along her spine, anticipating uncertainty lurking just beyond sight. I'm ready, she breathed out firmly, while gripping onto courage like a shield, a resolute reminder of why she embarked on this quest to begin with. Healing her mother, and perhaps discovering who she truly was. Lucian nodded approvingly before placing his hand against cool iron, the air thickening around them as he whispered incantations tied into charming music, merging mystery with rising anticipation, all leading up towards unknown adventures promised lingering far beyond. As Lucian placed his hand against the cool iron door, it creaked open with a low rumble, revealing a dimly lit corridor that stretched into the shadows. Elara's heart raced as she stepped forward, feeling both exhilarated and anxious about what awaited them within. Stay close, Lucian instructed, his voice echoing softly in the stillness. They ventured down the corridor, where faint glimmers of light flickered along the walls, casting eerie shapes that danced like spirits trapped in time. Suddenly, they reached a large chamber filled with swirling mist and strange sounds. The air crackled with energy as Alara spotted fleeting figures darting through the fog, creatures of magic mingling with enchantment. Some had shimmering wings, while others inspired awe with their majestic forms. Each creature seemed to embody various elements of nature itself. "Look!" Alara pointed excitedly at a graceful creature resembling a cross between a deer and a dragon. It had vibrant scales that shimmered like rainbows each time it moved. "Ah, the mist stags," Lucian remarked with admiration. "They are guardians of this realm, watching over those who travel through these halls." Just as Alara was about to take a step closer to observe them more closely, one of the mist stags turned sharply, its eyes locking onto hers. It stomped its hoof on the ground, as if warning her to keep her distance. "Remember?" Lucian reminded her quietly. "They may be beautiful, but are sensitive to intruders." Alara nodded, taking a hesitant step back, aware of her surroundings now. As they continued deeper into the chamber, however, trouble soon emerged in the form of swirling shadows creeping toward them from every direction. "Darklings!" Lucian shouted urgently as he brandished his cloak like a shield against the encroaching darkness. "We must push through." Alara's pulse quickened at the sight of shadowy tendrils reaching for them, but felt emboldened by her companion's confidence. Drawing upon her newfound courage, she gripped her crystal tightly and focused on its warmth radiating through her palms. As one darkling lunged forward toward Lucian, he swiftly sidestepped while casting shimmering sparks from his fingers, a spell that sent light scattering through the air and dispelled some darkness momentarily. "Use your magic!" he shouted while dodging another attack. "I don't know how," Alara cried out in frustration. "You can feel it inside you. Trust your instincts," Lucian encouraged firmly. With determination sparking within her heart like fresh firewood igniting into flame, Alara closed her eyes for just a moment and concentrated on everything she had experienced so far. The connection she felt to the crystal and her desire to protect her mother surged forth like an unstoppable tide. When she opened her eyes again, glowing tendrils of light emanated from the crystal, as if answering an ancient call buried deep within her soul. The shadows froze in awe before being pushed back by brilliant beams of energy bursting forth from Alara's hands. "Yes, keep going," Lucian urged enthusiastically as he deflected another darkling trying to break through their defenses. Alara focused harder on channeling that light until it enveloped both herself and Lucian, a radiant barrier against encroaching shadows forming around them like a protective cocoon infused with hope and love for those they sought to save. Together, they advanced through the room filled with glowing brilliance, Alara's newfound strength enhanced by Lucian's guidance, creating a harmony between light and dark. Once outside this chaotic realm of shadowy creatures, they stumbled upon yet another challenge. A massive stone statue standing sentinel over an arched doorway ahead. Its eyes glowed ominously red as it began to speak. "Only those worthy may pass. Prove your worth." Lucian glanced at Alara thoughtfully before responding calmly to the statue. "We seek entry in pursuit of knowledge meant to heal." The statue's expression softened slightly, but did not yield just yet. Instead, it posed a riddle. "What walks on 4 legs in morning, 2 at noon, and 3 in evening?" Alara pondered momentarily before exclaiming excitedly, "A human. They crawl on all 4s as babies, morning, walk upright during adulthood, noon, and use canes when elderly, evening." The stone guardian hesitated almost imperceptibly before nodding reluctantly. Blocks shifted aside, allowing passage forward for Alara and Lucian, who exchanged victorious smiles, signifying growing trust born out of teamwork, steadily strengthening their bond throughout all adversities faced so far. "We're doing it!" Alara exclaimed gleefully, feeling even more confident together than apart. They were overcoming trials neither could endure alone, growing ever nearer towards their ultimate goal, that Heartstone lying beyond hidden dangers, beckoning amidst castle depths awaiting discovery. With a deep breath, Alara stepped toward the Heartstone, its radiant glow beckoning her closer. She could feel its warmth radiating through the air, wrapping around her like a comforting embrace. As she reached out to touch it, she felt a surge of energy pulse through her fingertips, igniting a sense of hope within her. But the voice echoed again, sending shivers down her spine. To wield this power, a sacrifice must be made. A piece of your essence shall be forever lost. Alara hesitated, her heart pounding in her chest as she processed the weight of the words. A sacrifice. What would it mean? The thought of losing something dear to her was almost unbearable, especially when her mother's life hung in the balance. "Lucian," she whispered, glancing back at him with wide eyes filled with uncertainty. "What should I do?" He stepped closer, his expression serious, yet encouraging. "The Heartstone offers immense power for healing, but it will take something precious from you in return. This is not a decision to take lightly." Alara looked back at the Heartstone, its light flickering gently as if sensing her inner turmoil. Memories flooded her mind, her mother's laughter, their shared stories by the fire, and the warmth of their home filled with love. How could she choose to sacrifice any part of those cherished moments? "What if I offered part of my fear instead?" Alara suggested suddenly, her voice growing stronger as she considered the idea. "I have fears that hold me back from being who I can be." Lucian regarded her thoughtfully and nodded slowly. "That might work. Sacrificing fear could free you to embrace your true potential. But you must be sure of your choice." Alara took a deep breath and closed her eyes, visualizing all the fears that had clouded her mind. Fear of failure, fear of losing her mother, and fear of not being enough. She pictured them like dark clouds swirling above her head, weighing her down. "I'm ready," she declared firmly, opening her eyes to meet Lucian's gaze. "I want to do this for my mother and for myself." Lucian stepped back, allowing Alara to approach the Heartstone once more. As she placed her hands on its surface, a brilliant light enveloped her, illuminating the chamber with a dazzling glow. She felt the energy coursing through her veins as she released the fears that had burdened her for so long. The shadows around them pulsed and twisted as they left Alara's body, drawn into the Heartstone where they vanished completely. In that moment, Alara felt lighter, like a weight had been lifted from her shoulders. She could sense new strength awakening within her, as if the very essence of life flowed through her. "Now," Lucian urged gently as he stepped forward again, with his cloak billowing around him like smoke caught in sunlight. "Let's claim what we came for." When Alara opened her eyes fully after releasing those fears, she felt different, more alive than ever before. The Heartstone pulsed rhythmically under her hands, as if acknowledging the transformation that had just taken place. "Together, we will harness this power," Lucian said reassuringly. "This is just the beginning of what you can achieve." With newfound confidence radiating from deep within herself, and reinforced by Lucian's unwavering support beside her, guiding every step forward, they prepared to harness this incredible artifact's magic together, as they turned to exit the chamber filled with swirling light still echoing through their shared space. Alara's heart fluttered with anticipation and hope for the journey ahead. A journey toward healing not only for her mother, but also toward discovering who she truly was. A healer stepping into destiny, awaiting fulfillment. But just as they moved toward the exit, an ominous rumble reverberated through the castle walls, a warning that their path ahead was fraught with challenges yet unseen. "Stay alert," Lucian cautioned quietly as he held his cloak tightly around him while gripping his own powers tightly, readying themselves against whatever emerged next. Ilara nodded resolutely. No matter what lay ahead in this enchanted castle, filled with mysteries waiting to unfold, they would face it together, side by side. Their bond had already grown stronger through trials faced together. Now they stood on the cusp of something transformative, about to utilize magic capable of healing and harnessing light in ways neither had imagined possible before. Together, they would venture forth into uncharted territories, filled with wonders waiting eagerly beyond reach, still hidden behind layers spun throughout generations past intertwined dance, revealing truths clearer than ever, illuminating brighter horizons stretched far away, beckoning them both onward. As Ilara and Lucian moved through the winding passages of the castle, the Heartstone felt like a constant weight in her pocket, pulsing softly against her thigh. The thrill of their success had quickly turned into an unsettling realization, an impending choice that loomed over her like a storm cloud. "Are we close?" Ilara asked, looking up at Lucian as he led the way, his cloak trailing behind him like shadows following his every move. "Yes," Lucian said, glancing back at her with a serious expression. "But we need to discuss what you plan to do with the Heartstone once we reach your mother." Ilara swallowed hard. The question echoed in her mind, igniting a whirlwind of emotions. She had come so far to find healing for her mother, yet she also recognized the immense power and responsibility that came with the Heartstone. It wasn't just a tool for healing, it could fall into the wrong hands if not protected. "What do you mean?" she asked, trying to mask the uncertainty in her voice. "It's meant to save my mother, isn't it?" "Yes, but it's much more than that," Lucian explained as they paused before yet another grand door adorned with intricate carvings of mythical beings. The Heartstone is sought after by many who wish to exploit its power for dark purposes. If you choose to use it only for your mother's healing, it could be at risk. Ilara's heart raced as she considered this sobering truth. The thought of someone using the Heartstone for harm made her stomach churn. "So, you're saying I have to decide between saving my mother and protecting this powerful artifact from those who would misuse it?" "Yes," Lucian replied solemnly. "This is not just about love. It's about bravery and guardianship as well." Ilara stood frozen, contemplating her options. Images of her mother filled her mind, the warmth of her embrace, the sound of her laughter echoing in their home. She wanted nothing more than to see her healthy again, radiating joy and strength as always. But what if using the Heartstone meant endangering countless others? What if it was a choice that could lead to chaos instead of healing? What kind of guardian am I if I let others suffer just to save one person? Ilara whispered, grappling with the weight of both choices. Lucian stepped closer, his gaze unwavering. "You are stronger than you know. A true guardian weighs and balances choices, understanding that sometimes sacrifices must be made for the greater good." Ilara took a deep breath as his words settled in her heart, like seeds taking root. She felt a surge of determination rise within her, a mix of hope and resolve that had guided her throughout this journey. Maybe there was a way to save her mother without losing sight of who she had become. "I won't let my mother suffer," she declared firmly. "But I also won't allow this power to be misused." Lucian nodded approvingly. Then together, we will find a way to use the Heartstone wisely, ensuring its magic is protected while still holding on to what matters most. With renewed clarity and purpose, they continued down the corridor until they reached a second grand door, even more magnificent than the first. "What lies behind this door?" Elara asked anxiously. "Your mother is not far away," Lucian assured her gently, placing a hand on her shoulder. "But remember, whatever happens next will require all your newfound strength and wisdom." Taking one last breath to steady herself, Elara nodded resolutely and grasped the Heartstone tightly in her hand. Together, they pushed open the door, revealing a luminous chamber filled with soft light that seemed to dance around them like living spirits. In the center lay her mother, pale but still breathing softly, as if caught in peaceful slumber. Elara rushed forward, tears brimming in her eyes at the sight before her. "Mom," she called out breathlessly. Lucian stepped back slightly, giving Elara space while keeping watch for any potential dangers lurking within this sacred room. As Elara knelt beside her mother's side, she hesitated for just a moment before placing the Heartstone gently on her chest. "Please," she whispered urgently, "let this help you heal." A powerful energy surged through her fingertips into the Heartstone, illuminating everything around them with radiant light as magic wove itself through room like glittering threads stitching together hope and love. In that moment, Elara understood that whatever choice lay ahead, it was made out of love and determination. Not just for one person, but for all those who needed care in their lives, against darkness threatening, always nearby, waiting patiently. With her mother lying before her and the Heartstone pulsating warmly in her grip, Elara felt a surge of determination rise within her. Just as she gathered the courage to make her wish, the air in the chamber shifted ominously, cold shadows creeping towards them from all sides. "Elara," Lucian warned, his voice cutting through the tension like a blade. "Stay back." Emerging from the darkened corners of the room were figures cloaked in shadow, their eyes glinting like glowing coals amidst the gloom. Leading them was Dorian, a rival vampire with an arrogance that made Elara's skin crawl. "Lucian," Dorian greeted with a mocking smile. "And what do we have here? A sweet little girl thinking she can wield such power?" "Stay away from her," Lucian shouted angrily, stepping protectively closer to Elara. He could sense the danger looming over them. "You won't take the Heartstone." Dorian laughed darkly, reveling in their fear. "Oh, but I must. That Heartstone holds power beyond your wildest dreams, and I will not allow you to keep it safe from me any longer." Elara tightened her grip on the Heartstone, feeling its warmth thrill against her palm, even as fear coursed through her. She had faced many challenges already, but this moment felt different, threateningly heavy, like an impending storm about to break. "We need to stay strong," Lucian said quietly as he glanced at Elara with fierce determination in his eyes. "I won't let you." "Take it!" Elara shouted boldly, surprising even herself with the strength of her own voice. Dorian stepped forward into the light, his expression infuriated yet amused as he surveyed them both disdainfully. "Your bravery is admirable, little girl," he sneered, "but you cannot hope to stand against me and my followers." Sinister shadows surrounded Dorian's companions now, a gang of darklings ready to leap forward at any moment. Tension filled the air, like static electricity crackling around them. Both sides stood poised for confrontation. "Ready yourself." Lucian summoned radiant light once more, while preparing his magic for defense against encroaching darkness, threatening their presence menacingly swarming around, alive and hungry to consume all reflections of hope nearby. Without hesitation, darklings lunged forward simultaneously, black tendrils lunging toward Alara and Lucian with reckless abandon. "Ilara!" Lucian urged fiercely, as beams of light shot forth from him to counteract the shadows, advancing so aggressively toward their space. Illuminating pathways created only for courage breaking through. In that instant of chaos unfolding around them, and entangling brightly radiating powers directed boldly outward, Alara felt an undeniable surge through her fingertips, again urging more energy straight from Heartstone, freely flowing, drawing strength, unyieldingly fueled by protecting those most cherished, embracing true identities, forming undeniably ever-growing connections bound by trust amidst trials conjured together previously unseen, summoning every bit of strength remaining deep within herself, buoyed by love and determination harnessed forever, moving, invoking pure energy infused through magic. Versatile bursting forth, illuminating both Timothy and profound realizations, overtaking, spearing backward, daring explore immense possibilities, nestled close, sensing empowered depths, shapes shifting, potent, transitioning familiar ground, granting glimpses, embodying evolving capable souls, emerging quietly, reborn. Embracing affirmations, steadfast alive, gratifying ownership, fierce loud chants, encouraging, bringing peace, permitting salvation, enduring bittersweet desperation. Sharing eternal bonds, stretching reassuring wooden rails, flowing endlessly steadied newly set brightening paths, discarded largely departed visions, mending paths, beckoning future hoping. Let luminous reflections shine anew. "You'll regret this," Dorian howled as he charged forward himself, followed closely behind shadows, teaming precisely unleashed, shocking explosive wave, growing louder. Ominously branches, freshly bending, reaching toward collection, poised, extending desperate whispers, encroaching all, anticipating burst, waiting. Inevitably marked catastrophe, clashing, unforgiving silence, threatening losses, plummeting infinite surrounding brightness, filling rooms, twisting light eerily standing, awaiting dazzling promises, recalling heartfelt loves, shifting. Liberated past sweeping through radiant moments, drawn powerfully alive. Transformative ancient forces turned distinctly golden, dancing, long-awaited essence. Buried deep, healing once cherished realms, inviting tales revealing gentle laces, strongly woven, rebirthed illuminating gifts, held tight. Soaring engulfed histories gleaming, unfolding, moving, softly asked, allowing release, granting warmth, reinvigorating sacred homes, creating foundations, lending new arrivals, herald truer breaths, living where darkness feared, codified, crushed, dissolving, formed, scattered overflows, swept happily crisp lines, becoming witness, abiding crucibles, departing harbor, cherished, guiding lessons. Alara anchored herself against tidal waves, merging sides, colliding shadows, seeking peace willing relinquish, burning, encompassing fates, revealed solemn, interminable corridors, draped beautifully, pulling nearer, renewing fades, flushed sweetness erstwhile. As the clash between light and darkness escalated, Alara's heart raced with a blend of fear and determination. She had always known love as a powerful force, but in this moment, it surged through her like wildfire. Looking at her mother, pale and still, Alara felt a fierce resolve take hold. This was not just a battle for an artifact, it was a fight for the very essence of her family. "Stay strong, Alara," Lucian shouted, his voice unwavering amidst the chaos as he conjured shimmering shields of light to protect them from the darklings that lunged forward, eager to snatch away their hope. In response to the encroaching shadows, Alara tightened her grip on the Heartstone. Its warmth radiated through her palm, pulsing in rhythm with her heartbeat, and she drew upon that energy. She remembered all the moments spent with her mother, the bedtime stories, the laughter, the warm hugs. And with each recollection, her love deepened. "Get away from my mother!" she shouted defiantly, feeling an overwhelming surge of power swell within her. The heartstone glowed brighter at her command, illuminating the chamber with brilliant light that pushed against the dark forces threatening to consume them. Dorian sneered as he attempted to rally his darklings for another attack. "You think your love can save you. Love is weak. It cannot stand against true power." But Alara felt anything but weak. "I will show you how powerful love can be," she declared. Channeling all her feelings into the heartstone, she envisioned her love as a tangible force flowing into it. A radiant shield defending not just her mother, but also her newfound family with Lucien. Blazing arcs of light burst forth from the heartstone, striking out against Dorian and his minions. Shadows recoiled in fear as Lucien joined in, layering his magic alongside hers in a dazzling display of light that intertwined beautifully. A symphony of energy reflecting their shared purpose. "Now!" Lucien called out as they united their powers. Together, they formed a protective barrier that encircled them and surged forward like a tidal wave against Dorian's darklings. The darklings shrieked and faltered under the onslaught. Dorian's arrogance faded into desperation as he braced himself against the force of their combined magic. "You'll pay for this," he roared, trying to summon shadows back to shield him from their attack. But Alara was undeterred. Her love was vibrant and strong, breathing life into every tendril of magic that surged from the heartstone. "No one will suffer today," she shouted fiercely, feeling empowered by every heartbeat that echoed hope into existence. In a brilliant explosion of light, Alara unleashed a final wave of energy, her love transcending fear and darkness alike, while casting out Dorian's shadows completely. For an instant, silence enveloped the room, as if time itself had stopped in awe of what had just transpired. When the light faded and clarity returned, Dorian fell to one knee. Shadows dissipated around him like mist in sunlight. Anger twisted his features as he struggled to regain his composure. "This isn't over," he spat venomously before retreating into darkness with his remaining darklings. Alara released a breath she didn't realize she had been holding, exhilaration and exhaustion washing over her all at once. The battle had been intense, but they had emerged victorious, together. "Did you see that?" she exclaimed, turning to Lucien with wide eyes full of wonder. "I felt so strong. It was like my love gave me power beyond anything I've ever known." Lucien smiled warmly at her. "You did remarkably well, Alara. Your love is a formidable force. It has guided you every step of this journey." Tears of relief filled Alara's eyes as she knelt beside her mother once again, placing the heartstone gently on her chest. "Please, let this help her," she whispered urgently to no one but herself. A gentle glow enveloped her mother's form as Alara linked her heart to the heartstone's magic once more. This time channeling all the love she held, not only for her mother, but also for everyone they'd fought for families like theirs who needed healing in this world. With each pulse of energy flowing through them, a connection weaved through memories cherished. Their bond sparked anew, bringing warmth back into the air. It stitched together hope illuminating ways forgotten once time pulled shadows, stretching far into corners lost ahead. As Alara watched carefully for any signs that healing was taking place within those familiar breaths, relaxing softly underneath warm light surrounding them. She knew this wasn't simply about defeating darkness. It was discovering how deeply rooted love could transform lives igniting strengths once thought unreachable, leading pathways toward brighter futures shared, openly healed forever. With the battle behind them, Ilara stood in the warm glow of her home, holding the Heartstone tightly. The adrenaline from the confrontation with Dorian and his darklings still coursed through her veins. But now a sense of urgency filled her as she rushed to her mother's side. "Lucian, help me. What do I do?" Ilara looked up at him, desperation flickering in her eyes. "Place the Heartstone on your mother's chest," Lucian instructed gently but firmly. "Channel your love into it. Let that energy guide your magic." Ilara nodded, determination flooding her once more. She carefully set the Heartstone on her mother's chest, its warmth radiating against her mother's pale skin. Taking a deep breath to steady herself, she focused on every cherished memory she had of her mother. The comforting laughter, the stories they shared by the fireplace, and those moments when her mother held her during storms of fear and doubt. "Please, let this work," Ilara whispered softly as she closed her eyes, concentrating all her feelings into the Heartstone. It pulsed in response, glowing with vibrant light, as if resonating with the love she poured into it. As Ilara envisioned healing energy flowing from her heart into the Heartstone, a barrier of golden light began to envelop them both. The air crackled with anticipation as tendrils of energy danced around them like fireflies igniting in the dark. "Let your love be your strength," Lucian encouraged from behind her. "You are capable of great magic." With each heartbeat, Ilara felt more connected to the Heartstone and to her mother. She concentrated harder, letting love fill every inch of her being, an exhilarating warmth that surged through her like a river finding its way home. Light emanated from within the Heartstone in a brilliant cascade that shimmered throughout their surroundings. As light spread outward like sunbeams breaking through clouds, Ilara opened her eyes again to see the heartwarming glow illuminating the room. For a moment, time seemed to freeze. Hope sparkled around them like stardust, dancing in a gentle breeze. Suddenly, she noticed something miraculous happening. Color began to return to her mother's cheeks as warmth seeped back into her face. The shadows of sickness lifted ever so slightly with each pulse of energy surging from the Heartstone. A promise kept alive between mother and daughter, rekindling life itself. "Mama." Ilara breathed out in awe as she watched closely for signs of awakening, the fluttering of eyelashes slowly drawing back over familiar, warm brown eyes, gazing towards unforgotten memories shared lovingly, promising brighter tomorrows, awaiting true healing finally unfolding. Her mother's eyes blinked open slowly. They were filled with tenderness and recognition as she smiled weakly yet beautifully at Ilara. "My dear," she murmured hoarsely but sincerely, laying hands instinctively upon gently touching around Heartstone, now resting securely upon nurturing newly returned chest, allowing magic flow reverberating, encompassing warmly surrounding them all. "Yes, you're back," Ilara exclaimed joyfully, while kneeling beside and wrapping arms tight around embracing secure shelter. Feeling loved, wrapped together, unbreakably revitalizing connections, binding themselves, fiercely restored, hopeful outcomes, re-established healing hearts, experiencing glorious moments where brightness blossomed endlessly, weaving futures once lost again anew. Lucian stepped back slightly, allowing this reunion unfold safely, observing quietly, radiantly, proud, seeing transformation manifest again, shimmering within brightening spaces, alive, echoing harmony united. "I did it," Ilara exclaimed through tears flowing freely, now expressing gratitude, openly spilling hopes, finally realized. She understood love truly could heal deeply and strengthen bonds, indelibly woven throughout lives, shared connecting threads across realms, forever entwined, beautifully. blossoming, nourished, always amidst challenges, faced bravely, intertwined, moving forward, thriving courageously, expanding. Alara, Lucian spoke softly beside their joyful scene, unfolding vibrantly before them. Sparkling, nourishing energy flowed abundant, celebrating lives reborn together, embracing renewal, transforming once defined realities, coloring gently, inviting possibilities, brighter spread seeds planted firmly reflecting heritage, reawakened, celebrating what was before. Your journey isn't over. There may still be shadows lurking beyond what lies ahead. Alara nodded thoughtfully. Though challenges awaited beyond confines where darkness dared tread, she felt equipped, armed, richly drawn forth, healed, nurturing roots planted deeper, embracing love, illuminating paths, growing infinitely woven courage, renewed blossoming. Every new horizon awaited stretching, emerging brighter together. With her mother healed and the heartstone safely resting on the bedside table, Alara felt a wave of relief wash over her. The room was filled with a warm light that seemed to reflect the joy in her heart. Her mother's eyes sparkled with life again, and as they shared a tender moment, Alara knew this was just the beginning of a new chapter in their lives. "Thank you, my dear," her mother said softly, reaching out to touch Alara's hand. "You've always been my brave little girl. I knew you would find a way to save me." Alara smiled through tears of happiness. "I couldn't have done it without Lucian," she said, glancing toward the Vampire King who stood nearby, watching their reunion with a proud smile. Lucian stepped forward, his presence radiating warmth and strength. "It was Alara's love that truly made the magic work," he replied warmly. "She harnessed her heritage and discovered the depth of her abilities." As they sat together, recovering from the events that had transpired, Alara reflected on everything she had experienced. She thought about her journey through the enchanted forest, the trials faced within the castle, and ultimately how she had found the strength to wield such powerful artifacts. The bond she had formed with Lucian was not just one of mentor and student. It had become a friendship built on trust and courage. "Lucian," Alara began hesitantly, "what happens now? I feel like I've changed so much, but there is still so much I don't understand about my powers." He nodded knowingly. "Your journey is far from over, Alara. You have only begun to scratch the surface of your potential. There are many more adventures awaiting you, places where your healing abilities can make a real difference." Alara's heart raced at his words. Excitement bubbled within her at the thought of exploring more possibilities. The world outside was vast and full of opportunities for growth and learning. More importantly, she could use her gifts to help others who needed healing just as her mother did. "Will you come with me?" she asked earnestly, looking into Lucian's eyes for reassurance. Lucian smiled warmly. "Of course. I will always be here by your side as long as you need me." Together, they shifted their focus back to her mother, who was slowly regaining strength each moment that passed. Her smile widening as laughter spilled freely from them, painting warmth beautifully around them, rediscovering hope lost long before. "Let's take some time to enjoy our family again," Lucian suggested gently before adding playfully, "After all that excitement today deserves an adventure of its own." Alara laughed lightly, picturing adventures yet uncharted, navigating paths drawn both outside familiar comforts while daring tread into unknown realms. With renewed purpose flowing through them all, Alara unfolded visions where they could create memories richer than any past stories told, reminding everyone about bonds cherished, vividly alive. As days turned into weeks, filled with exploration, much laughter, Tales spun amid golden sunlight, pouring through windows, reflecting warmth, freshly nurtured, while dreams awakened anew, sparkling brilliantly, illuminating futures, waiting eagerly beyond grasp. One evening after dinner, filled with delightful discussions beside flickering candlelight, illuminating faces bright with smiles. The door creaked open, revealing shadows stretching toward them, beckoning wondrously like whispers lingering overhead, inviting curiosity, promised further journeys awaited beyond horizons shimmering. While promising more magical experiences, waited patiently, unfolding, beckoning new beginnings, arriving, inspiring hope everlasting. Are you ready for an adventure? Ilara asked excitedly as she looked at Lucian and her mother. Absolutely, they both exclaimed together. Feeling invigorated by their shared excitement, it marked another turning point, firmly grounding roots deeper, embracing legacies cherished forevermore, allowing love guide journeys through life, weaving beautiful tapestries wholly connected while engaging new paths leading toward breathtaking experiences waiting beyond every corner, inviting exploration, discovering how powerful love could truly be, transforming destinies forevermore, leaving behind echoes, heralding each step taken towards brightening futures, filled wonderments, inviting magic alive, coursing through veins, beckoning truths unfold, undiscovered throughout endless possibilities, blossoming brightly ahead.